And as mentioned, who we are, Tony Marino and Joe Beckerly with you, and our pleasure to welcome in our first stop-in guest anyway here on the Football Tailgate Show, and that's Kevin Shearer, the Director of Video Operations for the Army Football Black Knights. And Kevin, first off, thanks a lot for stopping by out of your busy schedule here on game day as the Black Knights get ready to take on Eastern Michigan.
It was my pleasure. I'm honored to be asked to be on the show with you guys.
So Kevin, just to get for a little background for our listeners back home and really for us here as well, take us through really from top to bottom what's going on within the video football operations, what you have to do and what you guys do to help the Black Knights prepare.
Well, we're really responsible for all the video and technology needs of the coaching staff, and that is video, recruiting, any kind of stuff with their phones, computers, any kind of videos they need, practice games, all that.
So when coaches talk about, we got to look on film and we got to see on film this is what we saw on film, when they want to review a film after the game, when they want to review at any time during the week, you guys are pretty much the resource that they go to. And how do you accumulate all of this video?
We have a exchange policy with all the other schools that we're going to play, so we'll get all of their games available to us via the internet. We will then put them into our computer system for the coaches to watch, and then break down with all the formation information, down and distance, all that kind of stuff. We usually get a opposing team's game that night right after they play it, so it's a very quick turnaround.
Now this is, I'm sure, a technology that has evolved, especially in the last 10 years, because from what I understand, 20 years ago, there were probably couriers driving back and forth, meeting halfway, picking up these tapes, maybe even as games were going on.
Absolutely. When I first started doing video at the Buffalo Bills 7 years ago, it was all on tape, and you had to have a courier run it to the airport and overnight it as fast as possible. And then on Monday morning, you get a big box of tapes in from whoever you were going to play the next week and have to put that into the system.
And I think back to, this is one of those, on HBO, they had the 24/7s and they follow the hockey teams. And there was a segment this year where the Rangers coach, John Tortorella, was getting ready to show some film to his team. They were in a hotel on the road. He's getting ready to show them film, and it doesn't fire. That must be Kevin Shearer's worst nightmare. If that ever happens and Coach Ellerson is getting ready to show his team some film.
That's the worst feeling possible, because you are totally helpless. You have no backup material at all. You bring exactly what you need to show on that day, and if it doesn't work, then their whole game plan for that meeting is thrown out.
And it's funny, we've thrown the word film out a number of times here, and it was called film for a reason. Going back the 7 or 8 years you talked about the tape, and you going back even further, it literally was film that had to be developed.
Sure, it started on film, where you'd actually have to process the film after the game. If coaches wanted cut-ups of all the third downs, they would literally have to cut it and glue it back together to have their cut-up reel. Then it transferred to videotape. And then, just recently, within the last couple of years, it's become an all-digital format, shooting on little SD cards.
Yeah, it's all about the speed the speed of everything these days. Kevin, take me to game day here today. What time? Well, actually, take me back really to yesterday, how you guys are preparing the setup here at the stadium. And I'm sure this stadium is different than some of the other stadiums that you work at, including at home.
Sure. Yesterday, we packed up all of our equipment to bring to film the game. We have 3 cameras here. We have one guy up in the 50-yard line in the crow's nest, and then we have one guy in the end zone. And we also have a third camera on the ground shooting highlights of the game to use for whatever down the road. We pack all that stuff up. We pack up laptops, projectors for the hotel meeting rooms, put it on the bus with us, take it to the airport, get to the hotel, set it up as quick as possible because they want to sit right down and watch. And then, like on game day today, we ride in with the team. We get here, our guys grab their equipment, head up to their spots, and then we kind of take a little break right before the game and just wait for it to start.
So you guys get the nap time that Joe was referring to before with Northwestern.
I like that nap time idea. It should really be on the itinerary.
How quickly will Coach Ellerson want to see something from tonight?
Coach Ellerson doesn't like to watch it on the way back on the plane. We do have other coaches who want to watch it immediately. It's generally defensive guys. We can give it to them on a laptop. We can even put it on their iPad for them. On a short flight like this, they probably won't want to watch it, but say on the Wake Forest flight or the San Diego State flight, they definitely watch it on the way back.
Yeah, that's a quick turnaround that you have to get ready. So you have a video file basically, and you're making copies of it.
Yeah, during the game, I'm going to sit at a desk with a laptop, and at the end of each quarter, I'm going to get the memory cards from our cameras and put them into the system, and then break them down: offense, defense, kicks, So by the end of the game, I've got the first 3 quarters in. And then on the bus, if you guys have ever seen me feverishly editing after the game, it's to get all that stuff done. So everything's done so they can watch on the plane. And then when we get back to the stadium, back at Mikey Stadium, I can send that out to whoever we're playing next, Ball State.
Now, is there any in-game stuff that you'll have to do video-wise? Are the coaches looking for anything from you during the game for video? Something, maybe even breaking down something at halftime?
The coaches are not allowed to use any video resources during a game. They can't have laptops in the coaches' booths. They can't have them in the locker rooms. No video at all.
Interesting. And I know you see it a lot of times in the NFL anyway, is the overhead shots. They'll take still pictures of
photos,
it.
Right.
And so it obviously helps some people. If they saw video, I think that would probably be it wouldn't be an unfair advantage if they were both doing it, but it was also, could you imagine your job at that point?
When I worked at the Buffalo Bills, I was responsible for those still shots that you'd see them going through, and that was a nonstop process during the game. Part of me is glad that the college does not allow to do that.
And how about communication? Do you have communication with your staff throughout the game? Do you ever have to move them? The guy on the field, I'm sure, is roving a little bit more.
Yeah, the guy on the field I kind of let go on his own, and he's done it for a couple years. Ben Schiff, he's a junior now, and he does a really good job. The guys shooting up top in the sideline and end zone, we talk. We got to make sure that everything's right. If they have a camera issue, if the battery's dying, anything could come up if it starts raining and they forgot their rain cover for the camera. There's just endless list of possibilities. So we're always talking to each other.
So Kevin, luckily for you and your staff, you've had, or you will have, when it's all said and done, 7 home games. Makes things a lot easier for you. We're on the road today. In your travels, in your experience with working here at West Point, what does it take to travel a Division I college football team?
It starts in the summer. Once they know the schedule, especially working at a government facility like we do, you have to have everything go for a contract bid. So we put out our requirements of what we need for a hotel, for buses, for police escorts. We put that out in a contract proposal, and it gets sent out to wherever we're playing, 3 or 4 hotels. And then they'll send back their proposals, and we kind of go through it and fairly kind of examine the pros and cons of all of it and pick that out. But that's all done way early in the summer, trying to get it out of the way. So you're only worrying about playing that week. You're not worrying about any logistics.
And moving equipment, and I know there's a tractor trailer that drives to every game, and just even arranging flights and getting people on planes and hotel rooms.
And there's a team, I think, that comes out before even the team arrives as well.
Yeah, Gaylord Green and Brian Shearer, who works with me, is my brother in the video department. They'll come out usually on Wednesday and go to the hotel, meet with the bus people, meet with the police, go to the stadium, make sure that the truck knows where to come when it arrives. The truck usually goes out on a Wednesday, depending on how far away the place we're playing is. Obviously, it had to go out on a little earlier for San Diego State, and we'll see how early it goes out next year for Hawaii. But that comes out early, and it's fully loaded, ready to go. And Brian and Gaylord, and then Nick Detterman, the equipment manager, they're out here and setting it up. So everything's ready to go when we show up on game day.
Wow, it's certainly a lot of logistics pulling together to take this show on the road, if you will, the circus on the road. There's a lot of things that go into it. Kevin, you do get that unique view of watching this team every week and watching everything on tape. Everything the coaches see, you see as well. I'm sure you have to have that. You want to be around football. You mentioned working for the Bills. Give us a little background. I'm guessing you're a sports junkie when it comes down to it.
I love sports. I studied sport management at Cortland State. Then I interned and then worked for a company called Exos Technologies, who handles all of the video needs for most of college and NFL teams. Then I went to the Bills for 2 years, and then this is my 5th year here at Army.
So it's dream job material.
It's great. You got to love football, and I'll admit that when I first started, I didn't know anything about cameras and video, and I've picked it up, and it's so much fun to do, and it's a great job to have.
Well, that's great, Kevin. We appreciate you stopping by. I know you have work to do here today, and we'll see you afterwards running around.
Yes, you will.
Running around playing.
No nap for you today.
Thanks again, Kevin. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
And we're going to take a quick break. This is the Fleer Army Sports Network from Learfield Sports.